Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. I wanted to talk about some problems that Cloud Imperium might be facing now and going through the rest of 2022 and 2023. Cloud Imperium games are expanding massively as a studio. They've got this sort of new studio that they have in Manchester City Centre in the UK, which is expanding their workers in the UK by like 500-600 over the next couple of years. That's a huge expansion. Like, at the moment, we have around 750 employees overall for Cloud Imperium, so that's not just devs, that's management, that's marketing, that's lots of other stuff as well going on. But that's a huge portion of that is devs. And they're going to be expanding, getting another, 600 devs maybe in the UK, which that's like another 80% of their force. But they're also expanding their Montreal studio, getting more, well, at least getting more people there over the next couple of years. And we also have Frankfurt getting their new offices as well. So the large portion of this, so that the UK expansion and the Frankfurt office expansion is happening in the first 2 quarters of this year. And it is a big change. That relatively expensive buildings, I would expect. They have signed 10-year leases, I believe. So that's a good indicator that they're in it for the long run. Hopefully that's not an indicator that the game needs to be developed for 10 years, but hopefully they'll release Squadron 42 in the next year or so, maybe, hopefully, and Star Citizen maybe in the next sort of 5 or at least 5 years we'll have something akin to a beta, and then they'll continue to develop the game well after its release. So maybe not 10 more years of Star Citizen, maybe 20. That's the sort of hope that I've got for how long the game's going to be supported. Maybe longer, who knows? But there are some concerns and worries that I would like to discuss, and that being Cloud Imperium potentially being over-leveraged with new offices, hiring issues with trying to get new devs and an appropriate amount of devs in a timely fashion, and the sort of employee turnover at Cloud Imperium, how COVID and low pay in the UK may have sort of contributed to some of this, and the sort of realities now of people wanting to work from home over wanting to work in the office, and some other potential games that may sort of look to take a piece of the Star Citizen pie, be a competitor to that, or potentially even take some of the CIG devs, maybe. I mean, basically I want to talk a little bit about Star Atlas at the end here, but let's talk about Cloud Imperium's expansions. So we know they've got these new offices. We know that they need a huge amount more staff to crew them. There's currently on the Cloud Imperium website 131 jobs that they're looking to get filled at the moment. And this is going to increase massively over the next few months as they try to fill more and more chairs and stations at their new studios. There are issues here because they need to train those devs. They need to get, probably for the most part, junior devs, junior artists, all that sort of stuff, and then train them. And that would be the most cost-effective way of doing it. Now, obviously, they're going to try and attract some senior devs there as well, and some exceptional talent. And they've got the buildings to do that. And what I mean is that the new one building they've got in Frankfurt is fantastic looking. The one they've got in Manchester is central Manchester, scheduled to open in May 2022 at the moment. So it's going to create more than 700 jobs in the metropolitan area by 2023. Over 1,000 within the next 5 years. It's just this level of gearing that's a concern to me. Cloud Imperium need to attract the talent. And that building that they've got in Manchester is sort of like a high-tech campus. It is fantastic for creatives. People are going to want to work there. But we've come into a position now where people want to work from home, but Cloud Imperium want people to work in the office, especially when they've got these offices. The sort of creative juices flow much more freely when you're in an environment where everyone's walking around and sharing their work and talking to each other, and sort of at an area where they're more focused. At least that's what I believe Cloud Imperium think. This certainly isn't going to preclude some people working from home or doing some work from home, or Cloud Imperium even having contractors still. But when you need so many devs to create this game as the scope's expanded, and now as their studios have expanded, and they're in it for the long haul, well, it's a big undertaking, and it's going to cost a huge amount more money than they already have funded. But there's just a huge time investment with training these devs, hiring these devs. Can you get the talent? Do these people actually exist? And then you've got to talk about employee turnover. In the games industry, it's reasonably high. I mean, people are going to be moving around to other jobs, especially when they start off as juniors. If Cloud Imperium are employing lots of junior people and training them up, well, they're going to go, well, actually, I can get a lot more money if I just change job now. So Cloud Imperium need to pay enough and also have their wages increase enough year on year, as well as having sort of incentives for them to stay and be loyal to the company. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to maintain a efficient, large dev force. It's just a massive undertaking, and I think there are still worries that there could be future lockdowns and things like that as well. Also, this undertaking, how much extra development time does it add? Yes, it might be essential for building out the Star Citizen universe and having all the features and ships and everything working, and not the game not to be feature creep, but actually be a reality. But that does mean it takes time and it takes money. Star Citizen's funding, though, is doing fantastic. This year, 2022, it's made a huge amount more than it did in January, February of 2021. Although development of the game is slow, Star Citizen is more playable than it ever has been. And their marketing, well, you can argue about their monetization practices, but they are getting more and more refined at being able to make more and more money. The ship sales, CitizenCon, you've got like the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, Fleet Week, and just lots more events that seem to make the game just a lot more monetizable. From what I understand as well from Star Citizen in the UK and the way it operates is that, well, actually it's in Manchester, pays pretty low there, it's actually below industry sort of averages as far as I'm aware for wages for IT and sort of game development. There are lots of tax rebates and that sort of benefits for Cloud Imperium operating in the UK as well. I still believe the cost of living up in Manchester is relatively good. It's like relatively cheap to rent. So that's sort of my development concerns there is Cloud Imperium need to attract all this talent. They need to keep this talent. They need to train this talent, and they need to not then lose the talent. Funding, great. Development time, it seems that as long as they continue to show development and give us a load of news, that people seem to be okay with affording them the time for the most part. I know I'm speaking sort of roughly and broadly and not for everyone, but we do get a more complete version, or at least more and more features added to Star Citizen every quarter, even if sometimes it does feel like it is very, very slow. Because it is pretty slow. Now, are there risks that another game could come along and dethrone Star Citizen as a monetization machine, and people go, I'm bored of Star Citizen now, let's look at another project? Well, personally, I don't think so. I actually think that Star Citizen as a proposition is pretty cool. It's EVE 2.0 with first-person stuff that all works, and then it's expanded hugely on scope from that. That's basically what I saw Star Citizen as when I first looked at Star Citizen several years ago. It's like, oh, this is fantastic. So I came from an EVE background where I play a reasonable amount of EVE, and I was like, oh, actually, I love Wing Commander. Free Space 2 is one of my favourite games, and this looks fantastic, and it's sort of grown massively in scope since then, but it's become more and more a reality, not just because of the funding and the sort of talent that they've attracted, but also because we're seeing every quarter that more and more is in our hands. But I do want to talk a little bit about Star Atlas. So Star Atlas, and don't take this as any form of financial advice, and also take this as my sort of really rough opinions on Star Atlas as someone that has not been covering Star Atlas for very long at all, because it's an NFT-based game that I'm not too confident about yet. So Star Atlas plans to be very similar to Star Citizen from what I can tell, and the art is very similar. They want to use the Unreal 5 engine, and they're saying that they're building out a game for that, but it's based on NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and crypto stuff. So you buy a ship with real money, and then you can stake it, and you can stake some of the stuff now, and people are earning money on the staking rewards apparently. I think it uses Solana for that. So sort of people are potentially making some money on this now, but there are high buy-ins, and it might be a sort of play-to-earn type game, as well as having a load of stuff that you could do in Star Citizen. Now, this is very, very, very much in the super early stages, at least when it comes to sort of games development, at least from what I can tell anyway. But it looks to me like it's following Star Citizen, sort of like how Star Citizen started almost, but prioritizing the monetization and concept work. Now, if you look at lots of the concept work for the game and their ships and stuff, it is very Star Citizen-y. Very, very, very Star Citizen-y. And one of the reasons for that is a lot of the old CIG devs, concept artists, or contractors have done some work on this, like Sarah McCullough, who did the Mercury Star Runner, as well as I think the Hammerhead and the Argo SRV. What else did she do? The Tumbrel Ranger, I think. She's done a lot of ships, and some of the great ones, at least concept art for them, and some of the work towards that. So, but she's also done a Star Atlas ship, the Opal Jet. Gary Sanchez, who I believe did the Nox and the Dragonfly for Star Citizen, has done a load of sort of work on Star Atlas as well for concept, doing various ships like the PSX-5 and refueling concepts for certain bits. And do I think it's going to be an actual competitor for Star Citizen? Well, not really. It sort of focuses on a different market. It's more of the NFT rush, in my opinion, anyway. I'm not going to take away from anyone that actually really likes the idea of Star Atlas as well, or was like actually I really like Star Atlas but I don't like Star Citizen. I mean, you do you, and I don't know enough, nor can I have a do I have a crystal ball knowing the future. I'm definitely significantly more gameplay and game development on the side of Star Citizen, because that's the sort of thing that I want. I'm also innately skeptical of anyone that funds a game with NFTs. Now, people might argue, well, Star Citizen does something very similar, but it's not the same. And Star Citizen's obviously increased its funding and scope and monetization and stuff as the game has expanded. And they do have a playable game now. I just thought it was very interesting because obviously they've used a load of the same artists for a load of the concept work. And if you go on ArtStation and search for Star Citizen ships, you will find the artists that have concepted them or made them or been involved with them have often then gone on to do some stuff for Star Atlas. It does look like that Star Atlas is going to be starting to move on to selling structures and other things that they want to make monetizable as well, and not just ships. So that's an interesting thing. I do think there's a place in the world for NFTs, for sure. I do think they're overhyped and buzzworded and overused in just a load of situations that don't necessarily make sense. But what I will say is good luck to the guys making Star Atlas and anyone that's sort of tracking and following the project. I hope it goes well and sort of proves me that maybe that I was overly skeptical about it. However, I will cover Star Atlas to some extent if I have news occasionally. I do think it's an interesting project. I do think there are a lot of similarities with it to Star Citizen. I just feel it's a bit too risky a project for me to get involved with, and I'm pretty pro-crypto. There are games as well like Starfield that should be coming out later this year, which is potentially going to be Fallout or Elder Scrolls in space. So it is going to be sort of single player, at least mostly to start with. Maybe some stuff will happen later, but yeah, let's assume it's single player, and it's going to be sort of like more RPG and explory and cool. And that looked pretty Star Citizen-y. It looked like a Cutlass and Outpost in the sort of video that I've seen of it, but it's going to be you sort of exploring, and it's going to be much more of a single player game from what I can tell. Do I think it's going to be anything to worry about for people that are like super pro Star Citizen? No, I think there's a load more space, lol, pun intended, in the sort of game space for games like Star Citizen or other space games or RPGs and fun games like that. So hopefully there's going to be a load of great ones before Star Citizen's released, and it will keep people hungry for more. Anyway, that's my rant for you today, talking about my worries about CIG's hiring and concerns like that. I don't think there's any worries with funding. I do think they're making more and more and more. It just does seem to be a behemoth of funding. As long as Cloud Imperium do give us a constant stream of development news and they don't drop the ball with it. Obviously, we've had recently some worries with the roadmap and stuff like that, but I do think Cloud Imperium can easily fix that, and as long as they have a good year this year with updates and talking about it and potentially release Squadron 42 in the not too distant future, I think they're in for a fantastic place to make all the money they need, have all the time they need, and to be able to make a fantastic game. But I'm really interested to know what you think. Do you also have worries about CIG being able to hire the talent they need in a timely manner? Do you think they're going to be able to do that? Do you think there's going to be problems? Do you think there's going to be issues with training them and turnover? What do you think of Star Atlas? Do you care about it at all? Have you seen it loads? Are you super invested? Do you love the idea? Do you hate it? Do you hate NFTs? Please never take financial advice from me. I'm not a financial advisor in any way, shape or form, but I am a big fan of Star Citizen, but I'll also be playing Starfield when it comes out for sure. Anyway, thanks for listening to me. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and have a great day.
Mummy, my friend told me at school today that Star Citizen was a scam. Oh, Tim, is that why you got into a fight? Yes, Mummy. The only scam is people stealing all your internet infos and blocking your ability to watch things on Netflix and such with regional-based access. That's why we use our words, Tim. You should have told those bullies to get NordVPN, and also that Star Citizen is the best damn space sim ever.
Yes, these two people are right. Get NordVPN, and also Star Citizen's great. Also, Timmy was a 35-year-old teacher at the school. And it wasn't even a school, it was a pub, and he was a barman.
Every month we have a ship giveaway, and for February 2022, it's for an Aegis Saber, the high-tech medium fighter with loads of firepower, but it comes in an auspicious red paint scheme as part of the Red Festival, as well as lifetime insurance and a Star Citizen game package. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning is comment on any of my videos made during the month. You can further support the channel by clicking the join button underneath any of my videos. You can also donate or become a Patreon. Your feedback, though, from comments really helps the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, if you're looking for a diegetic little controlly boy that makes your Star Citizen experience and potentially some other games pretty good fun on your touchscreen devices, then check out Game Glass. You've got that, you've got NordVPN links, you've got loads of other stuff, all in the links below. Click them all! Click them all! Maybe not all of them, that would be madness.